Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of New Mexico. New property going live on the website this week, guys. This one out in Subdivision we have never previously before bought, listed, or sold land in, but it's one that we're actually going to have a number of properties in the weeks ahead. This one, as you can see from the price, is $32,000, a little bit more than we typically list properties. That being said, this is a combination of multiple adjacent lots that turn out to be a quite sprawling piece of land. And as you can see from the headline here, fully fenced. Fully fenced, so of course that means that you are not going to have to pay a surveyor to tell you exactly where the land begins and ends. It is fully marked out, fully delineated by the fencing that already exists out there. So that's savings to you, the buyer. With all that said, let's get to the details. This is reference number CBNM-5210, located out in Cibola County in the western part of the state, just bordering Arizona out there. This is 13.26 acres, 13.25 acres in the Pitchford Properties subdivision. And this 13.25 acres is a combination of 9 adjacent lots. As you can see right here, they are spread out between 3 units, and I'll get into that a little bit more on the plat map. As noted, this 13.25 acres, 9 adjacent lots are priced at $32,000, which for however expensive that may be, I promise is actually a really good price per acre in this particular subdivision. Anyway, with all that said, let's pull this up on a map. As with all of our listings, we've got GPS coordinates down here, guys. 4 corner points and a center. Click any one of them, and ba-boom, up on the Google Maps it shall appear. So first, let's pull back, talk about where this is in Planet New Mexico. For those of you familiar or unfamiliar with the geography of the state, everybody has heard of Albuquerque up here in the north central part of New Mexico. This property sits roughly about 100 miles west of Albuquerque, right out here in Cibola County. In fact, if we right-click and measure distance, you will see the Google Maps backs me up on that. 105 miles as the crow flies. Of course, most of that is easy driving along the I-40, probably doing about 75, 80, 85 miles an hour, out to roughly about Grants, and that's when you start to make your way along Highway 53 out to the subject property. Should be noted that for those of you who are not familiar with Cibola County, this is one of these regions where you've got more wildlife than humans. So there's actually a lot of great nature to explore out here. In fact, if we just kind of zoom in on the map, I can point out a few things to you in pretty close proximity of the subject property. For instance, guys, El Morro National Monument over here. You've got the El Malpais National Monument and Conservation Area over here. Chain of Craters Wildlife Wilderness Study Area over here. You've got the ice caves and the Bandera Volcano over here. If you're not into camping, hiking, and sightseeing, you've also got bodies of water such as the Ramah Reservoir, the Ramah Lake up here. And then up here also in Cibola County is the Blue Water Lake State Park, which of course is an even bigger body of water that you could take advantage of for fishing, boating, jet skiing, general recreation, etc., etc. And as we always like to point out, this giant green splotch here on the map is, of course, 300,000 acres of the Cibola National Forest, where you can go hunting for critters such as elk, mule deer, wild turkey, and I'm sure many, many species in between. Whatever the case, this property sits just a little bit southwest of that, out here in a region called Candy Kitchen. Very close to the Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary, which also is something that you could check out. They got wild wolves and foxes and coyotes out here, etc. Anyway, but this cutout area that you see right here on the map is the Pitchford Subdivision, specifically called the Pitchford Properties Subdivision. This is this new area that we are buying in. This area, of course, is notable because you've got some things out here like the Candy Kitchen Ranch Airport, which is actually a little runway, little landing strip that if you actually have a private plane, you can take it out there, land out there, get out to your property a lot faster. They've got some churches out here, Candy Kitchen Mission Church. They've got a volunteer fire department, which will appear on the map if I zoom in enough. No? All right. Well, just trust me. It's there. Anyway, and of course, out here you are closest to, let me just go back to the map. You are closest to the towns of Mountain View, which is really not much of a town. There's not much going on out there, but more so Ramah. Ramah is the town where you're going to find probably the nearest kind of groceries and supplies, things like that. Nearest big box stores and fast food restaurants are going to be out here in Grants. Grants, of course, is just you're taking the 53 out to this road, which is an Indian Service Road. But that is roughly, hang on guys, let's right click and measure distance yet again, roughly 40-minute drive. Let's pad that a little bit and say 50 because you're going up and over and whatnot. The point is just a little under an hour out to Grants. Grants, of course, is not only the county seat, but you've got the Grants Municipal, Cibola hospital up there, municipal airport, Grants Milan Municipal Airport up there. And actually, as we zoom in a little bit more here, you can see there's a good amount of population and industry out here. But as noted, big box stores such as Walmart, Supercenter, any kind of fast food restaurant that you want, that's going to be found in Grants. But minor sort of grocery and supply runs you would probably do either to Mountain View up here or to Ramah up here. So if you start building on the property, you need to go into town for supplies. Those are probably the towns you're going into. That's kind of the point about my dissertation here about closest towns and groceries and supplies. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, with all that said, guys, let's zoom in here on the property. Let's see here. Here we go. I've zoomed in too far. All right. So the subject property, as noted, 9 adjacent lots totaling 13¼ acres. They start down here where Learning Tree and Running Bear fork in the road. It occupies basically all of this space right here. Everything that I am outlining on the map. It has road access along Running Bear, road access along Learning Tree all the way up here, road access along Shade Tree Lane all the way over to here. And I believe actually part of the property touches Raven Lane. It doesn't exactly occupy all of this space. There are 1 or 2 private lot owners who have land here, but it occupies most all of this space that I am outlining here. Now, of course, if we go to map view, you will not see an outline of the plat like we were fortunate enough to see in some subdivisions. So I will direct your attention back to the listing page, guys, where we have first off this helpful Google Earth representation of the exact sort of size, shape, location of the property, and all of the assorted road access. I think I overshot it a little bit on my road access demonstration there, but this is the size, shape, location of the property. Now, we have plat maps. Everybody likes to ask about plat maps. Do you have plat maps that represent this? Yes, we do. Here's the thing, guys. This property is spread over 3 units, Unit 91, Unit 93, Unit 94. So the Unit 91 property is this lot right here. The Unit 93 properties are like this, I think, and Unit 94 is this one. So the point being, guys, there is no one plat map that contains all of these units. It's so sprawling. So to give you a sense, this is one of the units, this is one of the properties, this is where, hang on, what are these roads called? This is the lot right here, where Learning Tree and Running Bear diverge, okay? So that's the first lot right there. The second grouping of properties are all of these. And then the third one, I believe, is this one right here on the next unit map. Yes, there it is. So this road right here is the aforementioned Running Bear. I hope all that's clear. I'm sure it's not without first studying the map. But the point is, it is spread out over these 3 units, and that is what the various lots look like. Now, quickly, let me just say this, guys. So we've got 9 lots here, 9 adjacent lots. Anybody who's looking at this and thinking, oh my God, this is great. I'm going to be able to subdivide all these properties. I can live on one. I can resell the other 8, so on and so forth. Keep in mind, guys, there is fencing all around the perimeter of this property, which I will show you in just a bit. As noted, clearly dictates the property boundaries where each one of these lots starts and finishes. But point being is if you are of the mindset to subdivide and to resell some of these, you're probably going to have to do some work with that fencing, cutting open entries to these various properties where the road would give legal access to these properties. By the by, guys, I do want to point out to you the gate that I'm talking about here for these properties, because I keep saying it's fully fenced, is down here. You can kind of see it a little bit on the map where Learning Tree and Running Bear diverge right here at this fork in the road. This is where the one access point is. The previous owner told me that there's a second access point, second point of ingress and egress, if you will. That being said, our photographer could not find it. So right now, all I can really attest to is this access point down here, etc. Should be noted that this is one of these subdivisions where there's power throughout the subdivision. If you really explore all these roads, you're going to see some of them have power lines up and down the road, some of them do not. This is one of these regions where the entirety of this property does not have a power line on it. That being said, right over here, this property, and specifically right here at the road, there is underground utility. There's an underground utility box, underground telecom lines. And those also exist all throughout the subdivision. We're going to have more properties in the subdivision that will feature both. This is one that really only features the underground telecom lines. Now, practically speaking, I'm not entirely certain what that means, what the implications are for getting power to this lot. This is something you're going to have to discuss with the power company. But just an FYI, in these 13 sprawling acres, there is not a power line. Closest one is within a mile, though it's hard to discern exactly what is the closest. But certainly there's home sites all around this that are hooked up to the grid. We're not entirely certain how they're hooked up to the grid. Some of them it's clear, they have power lines on them. Some of them it's not clear. So for instance, this one right here, functioning home site. We know there's somebody out there. A photographer ran into the neighbor, but doesn't look like they have any power lines on the property. Does, however, seem like they have the underground utilities. So anyway, with all that said, let me quit my blathering. Let me go here and just show you some pictures of, first, this is Quemado Lake, nearby Quemado Lake, roughly about 30 minutes from the subject property, about south of it. This is not one of the lakes that I've already mentioned, such as the Ramah Lake, such as Blue Water Lake State Park. But this is another one that's close by and gives you a sense of exactly what's out there for you, just different outdoor activities you can enjoy. This is the road leading out to Candy Kitchen. This is some of what you see as you enter Candy Kitchen. The Wild Wolf Sanctuary, they're promoting out here the trading post where you can get food, propane, lumber and hardware, laundry and grocery, so maybe you don't even have to drive as far as Mountain View, Ramah, or Fence Lake. But that's where you can get some of those. And this is the aforementioned Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary, gift shop for the Wolf Sanctuary as well. Let me remind you guys, you can find wolves, foxes, and coyotes there. Anyway, as we go through this, we will also see signs for the Candy Kitchen Mission Church. Say that 3 times fast. And I'm not sure what that is, but this is the Candy Kitchen Volunteer Fire Department. That's what CKVFD stands for. You can also see they've got some sort of water holding tank out here. But this is the Volunteer Fire Department. This is not too far from the subject property itself. And finally, guys, if we keep going through these, we get to actual pictures from the property. So these are the roads that I was mentioning. This is the gate right here. If we go to the next photo, we see the gate again, and there's the gate open, proof that you too can open the gate just like our photographer did. He said there's like basically like a twist tie that you would find on like a loaf of bread is what's holding the gate closed. So FYI, private property, we own it. Once we sell it to you, you own it, so don't get too worked up about that sign. Additionally, as we go through these are the underground utilities that are pointed out, are basically right at the lot line where those 2 roads diverge. And this is some of the fencing that you're going to see circling around the property. There will be more fencing in more photos. This fencing, by the way, let me just quickly point this out to you guys. This fencing, hello, is basically right here at this part of the property. You can see it a little bit on the map if you look, but keep in mind this property doesn't go all the way down to Raven. It kind of stops short and then makes its way up here and then expands out. This area right here is where that fence post can be found. So there's more fencing leading off that way. Anyway, what else? All right, so it should be noted that this property is has a slope to it, has an incline to it. It gradually rises from west to east, west being, of course, where the gate is, east being, let me go back to the map, hang on. So west being where the gate is over here, gradually rises up to this way. It's really got a sort of diversity of topography, if you will, diverse topography. You can see there's some rock formations up here. You've got a little bit of a cutout kind of arroyo that goes through the property. You've got some forested areas over here, and you've got some kind of wide open spaces down here, which might be easier to build, or you might want to build up here where you're going to have some nicer views. Who knows? But point is that the property does have that incline, does have that slope to it as you go westward. More photos from the land. As you can see, it's quite gorgeous out here. This is a little bit of that arroyo that we were talking about just a second ago. The previous owner, of course, fenced all of this. There you go. You're going to see he has a fence going over the arroyo. So even that did not dissuade him from marking out all the boundaries of his property. And blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I will let you guys explore the photos more on your own time. I do want to show you, you've got some lovely rock formations off here in the distance, some really pretty surroundings out here in Cibola County. You also see this in McKinley County. And additionally, here's more of the aforementioned fence going along this road right here, which is, hang on, Learning Tree Road. That is some of the fencing that goes up that way, and some of the sort of cliffs that overlook this region. Yes, there they are, overlooking, and more of the fence right here. It should be noted, oh, hang on, we've got some drone photos I want to show you. It should be noted we're going to have a drone video down here at the bottom of the page, which, of course, you can watch to get a better sense of the property, the terrain, the surroundings, etc. But we've also got some drone photos here. We've lately taken to kind of cutting out an outline within the photos to give you a sense of the property boundaries. This one, it's a little hard to do on because it is so quote-unquote sprawling, but you can get a sense of exactly what this terrain is like out here, just sort of how beautiful this region is in itself. And this one is one that kind of best gives it away. This is where the 2 roads diverge. This is where the gate is. This is where the owner has that kind of kooky fence thing that separates his property from the land over here. So all of this that you're seeing right here is the subject property, and of course it continues on up a little bit back this way. I hope that's clear. I feel it's not. But anyway, it's a big property, guys. It's a little hard to explain. Anyway, review the photos, review the drone video on your own time. It'll give you some good insights into that. With all that said, let's talk about covenants and restrictions. Let's talk about what you can and cannot do out here. So, as noted in previous videos where we've discussed Cibola County, Cibola has no county-wide zoning ordinance. They defer to the subdivisions and to whatever HOAs, homeowners associations, POAs, property owners associations, covenants or restrictions are being enforced at that time. It should be noted, however, so Pitchford doesn't have an HOA. It doesn't have a property owners association. They don't collect yearly dues, even for road maintenance. When the subdivision was founded back in 1986, and we write a little bit about this down here in this bullet point under property specific notes. It was founded in 1986. It had covenants and restrictions. They were set to sunset, set to expire 30 years from 86. So circa 2016, they would have expired. But there was supposed to be a vote of land and homeowners in the region. I have no idea if that vote ever took place. It's kind of hard to imagine that anybody in 1986 said, hey, Jimmy, stick around for 30 years and take a vote, with all the owners. So point being, if you were to read the covenants, which we have linked here, as well as down in the table down here, you will see exactly what those covenants and restrictions entail. Now, I don't think these covenants are still being enforced, but let's pretend for 2 seconds that they are. If you read through these 10 rules that go with the property, you're going to see that these are all pretty reasonable, logical, just good neighbor stuff. 2, 3, and 4, in fact, let's just read these. Number 2, no junk cars, trucks, or junk mechanical equipment of any kind may be parked or something on the property at any time. Okay, don't make a mess of the place. You're out here in nature, don't make it look like an eyesore. Don't leave garbage on the... Okay, that one seems reasonable. Number 3 is very similar. No trash, junk, or waste of any kind is to be deposited or left on the land, yada, yada, yada. All right, that seems reasonable too. Number 4, no tar paper shacks or dilapidated, unkept trailers or buildings of any kind are to be constructed or placed on the property. All right, that seemed, okay, fine. And then the rest, like for instance, number 6 basically is this is a residential subdivision, no business. Number 7 is no mining. Number 8 just has to do with butane and water storage tanks have to be up to state code regulations. Again, that seems reasonable. And number 9, just the one I want to point out to you guys, no lots may be subdivided. It should be noted these 9 lots are all individual lots. They're combined by the fact that there's a fence out there, but they've already been subdivided. So essentially, if you took one of these 9 lots, let's go down to the map here and pull up the easiest one to point out. This one's 1.3 acres. You can't subdivide this one. But I don't want you guys to think that the whole 13.25 acres can't be subdivided, because essentially it's already subdivided. So that's really what that one means. So point being, I don't think these covenants or restrictions are out there or being enforced. But if they are, they're really nothing to worry about for anyone who, is at all a reasonable human being. So, if your goal is a tiny home or a shipping container home, you're likely going to be able to do it out there. As long as you're building the thing to code, you shouldn't have any problem. But ultimately, those are questions that I normally tell you to talk to the county about. I guess you could give the county a call, though again, they have no formal zoning, no countywide zoning ordinance. But they may be able to guide you better about that. Additionally, when we talk about regions that have no formal zoning, you still have federal law to abide by, you still have state law, you still have building regulations, you still have, environmental law, things like that you have to abide by. Additionally, what I'd like to point out, guys, is if you kind of scan through this area and you zoom in on some of these properties, this looks like a property that has some junk cars on it. I've seen a few more out here that look like that. So that's kind of what makes me think that if, these covenants are not being enforced. So whether they are or they're not, they're pretty light. They're pretty easy to manage. I don't think you'll have much problem with them. Anyway, what else? Also want to point out, well, most of what I want to point out is written in here. That is the first thing. The second thing is just that the local utility company, Continental Divide Electric Co-op, we have them linked up there in the property specific notes, and we also have them linked down here under county contact. If you're looking at this property, if you're thinking of spending $32,000, it's always best to reach out to the power company that services these areas in advance and just say, hey, I'm looking to buy some land. What's the deal out here in Candy Kitchen? What do I need to know? It looks like you guys have got utilities running all throughout the region. Some are power lines, some are underground utilities. What do I need to be aware of? You know, logistically speaking, financially speaking, what's it going to take for me to get hooked up to the grid? They can speak to you better about that than we can. So we always recommend talking to those people. Additionally, we also like to recommend to our buyers, you know, reach out to local vendors. If you're going to buy this property with the intention of building a well, talk to people who drill wells out there. We can't give you a hard and fast number. Oh, it's definitely 100 feet. It's definitely 500 feet down to the water table. You know, we don't know what those things are, and even if we knew, we wouldn't like to quote it. So we always recommend talk to vendors out in the region. Now, of course, we also provide this helpful link, Office of the New Mexico State Engineer. This is the entity in New Mexico that's responsible for well drilling permits, for water rights. If you're going to drill a well out there, inevitably you're going to have to deal with them. So it's always good to kind of check out their website, call their offices, ask whatever questions you have about this process. You know, what does the permitting process cost? That's something that I'd want to know in advance. Number one. Number two, it also bears mentioning that they have well logs on the website. You can see the depth of wells in this given region. And by region, I mean basically Cibola County. So you can see how far others have had to drill to find a well to you know, tap into water. Though it's not necessarily going to give you a sense of how far you're going to have to drill. But it's something that you might want to check out. It should be noted, of course, if you ever look at a map and you see residences in the area close to the property, it usually suggests that the water table is pretty accessible, certainly not prohibitively expensive. And if you explore Candy Kitchen here, you'll see a number of home sites out in this region that would suggest that to me at least. Anyway, so those are some resources that we recommend you check out if you're going to buy this property, if you're interested in that. With all that said, we do want to let you guys know we closed on this through Quest Title, so we do have title insurance on this property. If this is something you want to buy from us, we recommend that you close on it and get title insurance as well. It's a $32,000 purchase, and we do not anticipate that most buyers have or want to put $32,000 on a credit card, sight unseen with business on the internet. So what we ask for is you come up here, you click the Buy Now button. It'll take you to the secure checkout page. All we're asking for is a non-refundable $500. Guys, let me say that again because a lot of people get this wrong. Non-refundable. It's non-refundable. It's $500 that proves to us you're serious about buying the property. So you fill out this form, give us the legal name or names that you want on the deed, the tax address, so on and so forth. Agree to the terms of service, click next, and on the very next page, you're going to be asked for credit or debit card information to put down the $500. Want to be clear, guys, this is not a financing situation. We're looking for the whole $32,000 all at once. Now, if you do want to buy this property, what we recommend is that we close through title and escrow. If you're not familiar with what title companies do, basically it's a neutral third-party intermediary that's going to handle both your money and the drafting of the conveyance documents. They're going to collect a signed deed from us, they're going to collect your money from you, and they're going to pass both. They're going to, you know, essentially your money is not going to be given to us until such a time as the deed has been recorded, until the property has been conveyed into your name. Additionally, they're also going to provide title insurance for you, which may be beneficial, particularly if you are looking to build on this property and you're going to take out a loan from a bank to do so. If you're going to say take out a $50,000 loan to build the shipping container home of your dreams, the lender is ultimately going to want to see that you have title insurance. So, with all that said, if you would like to learn more about this process, guys, we have a helpful page on our website, how it works, buying from us. Click on this, it'll bring up this page. It'll describe the two basic methods on which we convey property. This one down here for prices over $10,000, this is what we recommend for this, title and escrow, okay? So this gives you a sense of how it works. You put down the $500, within 24 hours, we're gonna get you a contract. We sign it, you sign it, we're gonna submit it to the title company, and they will do the rest. And it should be noted, they will do the rest slowly. Title companies don't do the rest quickly ever. So about a month later, they're going to contact us. They're going to say, okay, sign this deed, sign these documents. They're going to contact you and say, okay, we need the rest of the $32,000. And that's the way that it works. Now, if you'd like to see a copy of what one of those contracts looks like that we're going to ask you to sign, just click this link right here. It's going to bring up a generic version of one of our standard, why am I getting these ads? Generic version of one of our standard contracts that we use. Very simple, one page for signatures. Very clear, you sign it. What are these ads? You sign it, we submit it to the title company, and they will do the rest. But if you'd like to get a sense of what that looks like in advance of giving us the $500, please do take a look at it. It's here displayed on the website. Anyway, guys, hope that helps. Hope that was informative. Hope you like this. If you have any questions, leave a comment here on YouTube. Shoot us an email, support@hemingwayland.com, or give us a call 702-919-7170. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video.